welcome to another Teacher Talk sessions, Teacher Talks 76. Yes, tonight we are going to have our 76 sessions, and tonight we are going to visit Spain. Our guest is going to be from Spain tonight, and he is Charlie Cranmer, and he is Director of Studies for Foreign Languages from CLIC International House, Cadiz, and he is the owner of Charlie's Lessons YouTube channel. And when he comes, I'm going to invite him here. And sorry for the connection problem. I think I just had a kind of a problem with the connection, but now I fixed it. So we are going to have our live session. Let me invite him, and we can start our fruitful session with Charlie. There he is. Yes.
Okay.
Hello, Charlie.
What happened? Everything okay?
Yeah, is everything okay? But some just kind of, I think, a connection problem I had. I don't know. But sometimes it happens, you know. But that's fine.
No worries.
All right, Charlie, it's great to see you. And
Nice to see you
before
too.
we starting our live sessions, I would like to say thank you to accept my invitation to Teacher Talks and being my guest tonight. And it's really
No
a great
problem.
honor to have you, Charlie, here.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
I know we are all busy, and you are very busy, man. So, and it's better to start. It's better to start our conversation. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right then. I know about you, but maybe our listeners would like to know about you. So, can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences too?
Well, okay. Well, my name's Charlie. I'm originally from Bath in the UK. If anybody, well, nobody knows where that is, maybe, but it's in the southwest of England,
Really? Wow.
near Bristol. I always say near Bristol because nobody really knows Bath, especially from if they're coming from abroad. So, and I've been teaching English since 2008, actually. So a while now. And I started teaching in Thailand. I
Wow.
was teaching in Thailand for a year and a half, and then I was in Korea for a year. I actually wanted to go to Japan, but I wasn't able to find a job, so I went to Korea
Oh.
instead. South Korea, not North Korea, South Korea. And then I went back to the UK, did some teacher training, worked in some summer schools in the UK in Bath, and then moved to Cadiz for my first 3 years in Spain were in Cadiz. Then I moved to Seville. Was in Seville working there for 2 years. And now I'm back in Cadiz. And I've been in Cadiz now since 2016.
I
So
see.
yeah, always
You are still
in
there.
Seville and Cadiz, working at the same school. The
Uh-huh.
name is CLIC.
CLIC, I see. Yeah, we are
Yeah.
going to talk about it, by the way,
Okay.
in the later question. All right then. So thank you very much. North Korea will be a real experience. Yeah. Thank you, Aydan Hocam.
Well,
Yeah.
you never know. Maybe
Definitely.
in the future. Yeah.
Will be a real experience, definitely. All right, Charlie. So let's move to the next question. So I know that you have a lot of experience about teaching. So what was your, or were your turning points or point in your own education?
In my own education, well, I wasn't a very good student, actually. I think a lot of teachers are the same. You know, I wasn't. I think if I had been my own teacher, I would have hated to have taught myself. You know, but I always remember my favorite subject at school was history, and well, actually, my favorite teacher was my history teacher, and it kind of brings up that old question, you know, whether you actually like the subject or you just like the teacher that you have for that subject. You know, I think that's an interesting question sometimes for my students when I ask them, you know, what's your favorite subject? And a lot of the time, it's not the subject, they like the teacher they have for that subject, you know. So, and I always remember thinking, you know, well, I enjoyed that. He was like somebody that my history teacher was somebody I really looked up to as a role model for me. And I remember after finishing university, where I studied history,
Mm-hmm.
I was given, I was looking for some career advice, and my career advisor said to me that I should go abroad because I said to her that I didn't want to live in England. I wanted to work abroad. You know, I'm very, the weather affects me. So when I was living in UK, it was difficult, you know, all the rain. But I decided to start teaching in Thailand, and I remembered my first after my first class. I enjoyed it so much, and I think then I realized, yeah, I want to do this. You know, I want to try and work in this area and be a teacher. And yeah, from then on, I just yeah, kept improving, kept doing
Mm-hmm.
more, taking on more jobs, and so really the turning point was really maybe meeting my history teacher and then getting the advice to go and work abroad. I think that was
I see. That's very lovely.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you very much to share your
yeah.
nice memory with us, Charlie. All right. So when you think about your experiences in teaching, probably you have a
Hmm.
kind of a philosophy of teaching. So what's your philosophy of teaching?
Yeah, this is kind of a difficult question. Nobody really asks me this question a lot. I think I think it might be a good idea actually to ask the teachers at my school what my philosophy is, as you know, from everything I tell them. You know, I think my philosophy is really that the class must be student centered. The
Mm,
student must be at the heart of everything you do in class and in planning and everything really. Um, you know, um, I think when you're planning a lesson, the needs of the students need to be, you know, the fundamentals in your lesson planning, and also when you're in class, that you're dedicating as much time as possible to the student. You know, I think one of my biggest problems when I first started teaching was I used to talk too much. I used to kind of it was the Charlie show, you know, and I think and I think I've changed. I've changed the way I teach now, and I'm
mhm.
always thinking about yeah the students. So the student
Yeah,
needs
I
to be the
see.
center, and just yeah.
Students
So
with the center. All right.
yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. And we know that actually you have just mentioned that you have been working in Spain for a long time. So when you think about all the years that you work in Spain, what are the advantages and disadvantages of working in Spain as an English teacher? Because you moved from a
Hmm.
different country to Spain,
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are lots of advantages.
Yeah.
Besides, there are lots of disadvantages too. So can you just tell about a little bit?
Okay, so I think advantages for English teachers if they're thinking about moving to Spain, imagine. So there are lots of job opportunities. There's a lot of demand for English teachers still here today,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's you know that's that's something important to think about. I think when you, especially it was for me when I was moving to Spain. Advantages of maybe not teaching English in Spain, but living in Spain is the weather, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So the sun, you know, I live in a part of Spain that actually has amazing weather, so it's always really nice. So I'd say the disadvantages are probably the salaries aren't as good as in other countries. You know, when I was working in South Korea, for example, the money you could earn as an English teacher was very good, you know, and you could save a lot of money. I think for a lot of English teachers in Spain, especially in the part of Spain where I live, I think the salaries aren't really competitive, you know, um, and there's a lot of academies. And some of them are not really regulated very well. There are some academies that are a bit pirate, I would say, you know, and they're not maybe not treating teachers how they should be treating them. I think there needs to be some improvement on who is allowed to own a school or who is allowed to open a school. I think there should be
Mm-hmm.
more control over that, because there's a lot of horror stories from teachers in Spain, you know.
Probably.
So yeah.
I see. All right. So is that all, or would you like to add anything else?
Sorry.
Would you like to add anything else, or that's all I can want to?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think also a good thing as well. You know, I think obviously in Spain you've got Madrid and Barcelona are really like the biggest cities of Spain, but I think there's a lot of job opportunities around Spain. You know, it doesn't have to be Madrid or Barcelona. I think a lot of people end up in those cities because they don't really explore much. I think um, advantages in Spain is that there are a lot of Spain is a big country and there's a lot of places you can choose to work in, and you'll find work in most
Hmm.
places. So so yeah, I don't know if that's the same in a lot of other
I see.
countries, to be honest. So.
I see. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. And let's move to the really nice questions which are related to you. This question is really related. I'm sure that you're gonna like the question. So my next question is about your channel. Yes, I know that you have a nice channel. It's Charlie's Lessons, and
Exactly.
I've been following it, and lots of people are following your channel. So my question is this: how did you start Charlie's Lessons YouTube channel, and what was your aim about it?
Why did I start the
Yeah.
channel? Um, I always I spent a long time thinking about doing something online. I played with the idea of writing a blog, but I don't really like writing or reading, to be honest. So um, I looked at YouTube and I thought, well, you know, there's a medium that I enjoy. You know, I like using YouTube. I watch a lot of video content on YouTube, and um, you know, I thought as well maybe there's a market there, there's a niche for professional development in video form um, for um, for English teachers, and also I think well a lot of what I focus on my channel is around educational technology. I do videos about traditional teaching too, but during the pandemic. I noticed that a lot of my teachers um, were having problems with the tech that that we were going to use for online
Hmm.
classes, and I thought, well, there's a lot of teachers out there, not only in my school but around the world, who are
I
struggling
see.
with
Hmm.
technology, and they
Hmm.
want to use it, but they don't know how, and so yeah, that was kind of my aim really was to try and give teachers support in that area as well. But I've got a
I
lot of
see.
experience and advice for teachers in other areas, not only technology, but
Hmm. I
yeah.
understand. I understand. All right. So I know that you are creating these videos. So is it easy to create these YouTube videos? And how long does it take to create your videos? Or can anybody create videos like you do?
Um, okay, so if you'd asked me how long it takes, if you asked me a year ago, how long does it take? I would say 2 weeks. But nowadays it takes me maybe 2 days or one day.
Uh-huh.
Um, just at the very beginning, I was not only learning how to make videos, well, how to use the software, but I was also learning, yeah, I was learning how to make the videos, but also how to use the editing software, which was very complex for me at the beginning. So yeah, it's about 2 weeks at the beginning, and then now it's a lot quicker, and I'm sure it's going to get quicker and quicker and quicker. You know, so I'm just yeah, I think it doesn't take too long, but um, I think most I think people can have the same ideas. I like to think that only I can make the videos that I make. You know, but the way I make my videos or the content I choose to create, I think, you know, everybody's has their own unique, you
Mm-hmm.
know, style, or everyone makes their own decisions in the editing process, and so I think, can anybody make videos like me? No, but people can make their own content in a way that they can, and that would be, you know, that's perfectly fine, you know. So
I see.
yeah,
All right. Great. So, and what about like while you are I mean, like when you create your videos, look, what are your criteria when you
yeah,
create your videos?
okay. Um, for a lot of my videos, it's something that it's an idea that I'll have for a few weeks. So there's a couple of things to think about. You need to be careful when you're making content. You need to be careful about. You need to make sure that it's something that people want to see or want to watch. Sometimes I make the mistake of having an idea, and I think it's a good idea, and I think, oh, I'm going to make a video about this, but then I don't check, keyword research, and also looking online for other websites that are doing, or other videos that are about the same thing, to make sure that it's not just in my head. There are other people looking for this information too. So I use a lot of online tools to learn about how often people are looking for keywords. Maybe, I don't know, give you an example. What's a video? Okay, so recently I did a video on a platform called Educandi, and this is a vocabulary learning platform. And while I thought the website was a good website for young learners, I had to check first if people were using it, or if it was popular. So I had to use some other websites to search for how much traffic the websites receive, how much organic traffic they receive. So how many people were looking for this website, or how many people were finding this website. So there's a couple of tools that I use to learn about this as well. One of them is TubeBuddy.
TubeBuddy,
which is a YouTube SEO tool, which gives teachers an idea about what's popular on YouTube.
Nice.
And then there's a website called Ahrefs, which is a kind of more of a broader tool for searching keywords online. So that's really what goes into, is learning about what people are searching for. I also think about what time of year it is in the academic year. For example, I did a video in April, May about activities for the end of the year. So because I was thinking ahead, I was thinking, okay, what's happening next? What's the next thing that's going to happen in teachers' lives or in the classroom? And so you got to think about things like Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, all these things that are happening in our lives that teachers will want support on, So
I see. I understand. Thank you very much. And by the way, can you just write after the sessions the tools that you mentioned? Yeah, can you just write them to me so I can share them with our listeners, okay? Or the followers on my page. They're really useful tools, really, really. When we search something, we need to know about it, so it makes our job easy to find whatever we look for. Thank you very much. Just now you mentioned you don't like writing and reading, if I'm not wrong, but my next question is going to be about writing. So I really wonder, what are you going to say about it? So probably you have one or two suggestions about it. Why do?
Okay, so reading. Okay, reading. Yeah, I don't read a lot. I do read, but I'm very slow. So it takes me a long time to read books. Writing, obviously, we do a lot of writing work at school, so I need to. We do a lot of writing. So, I think for students at my school, when we talk about improving writing skills, or students with difficulties in writing skills, I think when you ask me about tips for writing skills, I think what are the problems that a lot of the students in our school have is that when they do writing tasks, they do not take risks. They are not experimental with their writing. They usually choose structures or vocabulary that's very basic. So you might have I assume you're familiar with the CEFR levels, no? A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, yes?
I see.
And so, for example, we might have a student that's a B1 or a B2, but they're using A2 or B1 structures or vocabulary because they know it's correct and they know that it's safe, you know. And I think
Mm-hmm.
what we try to encourage students to do in class is to experiment as much as possible and to use new structures. And even if they make mistakes, it doesn't matter, you know, because the most important thing is that you try. So I was going to just mention a few websites. I know you want to write them down at the end of the class, at the end of this live session. So a lot of the websites I go to help our students who are having difficulties with writing skills is there's a website called writeandimprove.com.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another one called Quillbot, which
Quillbot.
Quillbot
Uh-huh.
is a platform, a website, sorry, that helps students think about rephrasing or synonyms for language, so they don't always say the same thing. So
I
it's
see.
this is a really useful website.
Uh-huh.
There's one as well. There's a collocations dictionary called OzDic, which you can search for nouns or adjectives and look for what are the common collocations with those
Uh-huh.
words. And also, there's a website called Road to Grammar,
Yeah.
which checks the text for and gives it a level, gives it a CFR level, so the
Mm-hmm.
students can input their writing into this
I
website,
see.
and it tells them what level their text is, and they can look for ways to improve it. So yeah,
The
so it's
mm-hmm.
try and experiment, take risks, and use the online resources that are available
I
to
see. I understand.
improve.
Thank you, Charlie, about them. And by the way, yeah, you mentioned that tools and also these websites. After the session, if you just
Yeah,
send me them, I can share them too. Okay,
yeah,
so let me know people or your teachers at your school or the place where you work. They always ask you, "Hey, Charlie, can you tell us about your good teaching experiences in your career?" But now I'm gonna ask you vice versa. Can you tell us about your bad teaching experience, one of your bad teaching experiences in your career?
well, no, there's been more than one. Don't worry. There's been.
Yeah, we all have bad
um,
teaching experience, so no problem.
yeah, I think everybody's had more than one bad teaching experience in their career. I think most of my bad teaching experiences have been with issues with disciplinary issues. So I teach a lot of young learners, and in our school there are a lot of young learners, and some of my biggest problems have been with discipline in the classroom. So I've had students who are not behaving well, and so I think I'm not going to name any students or anything else or anything like that, but
No, don't
I just
please.
yeah, I remember like, you know, about 4 years ago, I just had a very difficult class with a lot of boys who you know, they were dressed for football practice, and they would go to football after class, and they would come to class ready to go, you know, not to study English, but ready to do physical, you know, activity. And I remember I had a lot of problems trying to control the class, and yeah, that was like I remember trying to figure out a way of solving the problem for weeks, and I had to really work hard to fix that, and so that was
Mhm.
probably my worst experience. Yeah,
And, you were trying to do your lessons, and on the other side, they were planning to go at the football game. That's
that's a
really
problem. Yeah,
nice memory, Charlie.
it's a classic situation in Spain because, well, I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but a lot of children have lots of extracurricular activity, and
Uh-huh.
so their timetable outside of school is very busy. And so they have to go to football, then piano class, then English class, then judo, you know, and it's just
I
they're
see. And
kind of it's
archery. Don't
non-stop.
worry, it's the same here. Don't worry, it's the
Yeah.
same in Turkey. After the
Okay.
school, there are lots of courses that they go like to other things. Okay. Thank you, Charlie. So, and we all know that lesson planning is a really important part of teaching. And when we, the write or prepare a lesson plan, we really be careful about some points. And in this case, what are your criteria for lesson planning?
Okay, well, when we write lesson plans for example, when we do formal observations in our school, the teacher has to write a lesson plan. And in the lesson plan, they have to talk about how long is each activity in the class, what is the interaction, so is it between students, between student and teacher, or teacher and students, etc. Then we also have to talk about the aims of each task and then the steps within each task as well. So when I look at a lesson plan, the first thing I'm looking for is, going back to my philosophy before, is how many stages are promoting or including student-led activities or student participation. So I'm looking, when I look for the interactions, I'm not looking for teacher to students. I don't want to see a lot of that. I want to see more student to student, or so that's a pair or group work, you know, and I want to see activities where the students are exploring. If there's a grammar focus for the lesson, then the students need to explore the grammar for themselves. I don't, for me, an important criteria is that the teacher is not just reading rules and you know, explaining the rules on the board, and the students are not having an opportunity to explore it for themselves. So I think for me there needs to be a lot of student-centered activities, a lot of student participation, and also when I'm writing a lesson plan, I want to see why the teacher has decided to teach that lesson. So I want to know that what needs are you meeting from the student? So let's imagine that you're doing let's see, I don't know, maybe you're working on language of agreement and disagreement. Like, why are you doing that? And I want the teacher to say, well, we're doing this because the students have an exam tomorrow, or they're going to do this activity next class, and they're going to have a discussion. And I need them to be able to learn. I need them to be able to express disagreement and agreement. So, you know, I need when I see a lesson plan, there needs to be a reason for planning the class that meets the students' needs.
That meets the student needs. I understand. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Charlie, about it. Okay, so let's move to some more different questions about it. So, can you tell us? This time, my question is about the teachers. I mean, can you tell us 5 adjectives that describe an effective language teacher?
5 adjectives. I've got them written down. You know, I've got my notes here, by the way.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, creative, like your Instagram channel. Yeah. Patient.
2.
Patient. Yeah. Experimental.
Okay, number 3.
Or observant.
4.
Okay, and charismatic.
Oh, okay, charismatic. Oh, nice. Yeah. 5. Good job.
Yeah, you happy with those? Yeah, any that you disagree with?
No, they're all fine, I think. I totally agree that these are your adjectives, so it's great. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie, about it. So let me ask you another question. This question is really interesting, but I don't know, maybe if you don't want to answer, you don't have to give the answer. So what's the most interesting question you have ever been asked by a student or a teacher in the classroom or webinar or seminar, etc.?
Yeah, that is a difficult question. I think most interesting question. I think one of the most difficult questions, interesting / difficult to answer in class, has been. Sorry, I've just seen my nephew has just joined the chat. Martin Garcia.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Can you say hello to Martin?
Yeah, of course. Hello, Mati.
So I think I remember once a student asking me about English pronunciation, and they asked me why is a word, for example, if you think about the word queue, no, to queue, Queue.
Oh,
They asked me why is it spelt like that? Why is it spelt not just Q or QU? And I think that was something that you never. I think it was one of my earlier jobs I had as a teacher, and I remember thinking, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. That's why is English spelt? Why do English words have no connection between how they're spelt to how they sound? And
uh-huh.
later, I have looked into it later, and obviously it comes from it's remnants from the Old English spellings of
I
words.
see.
But yeah, I think that was like one of the most interesting because it made me it made me think about to reflect on
Hmm.
on English as a whole. But um, yeah, it's a difficult question that you asked
Yeah.
me, but I think that's my idea. Yeah.
Blame the French.
Or
That's a
or
blame
Harry
the
said blame
French.
the French. Yeah, I was gonna mention. Yeah.
Oh, nice one. All right then. Thank you, Charlie, about just the answer for the question. Okay, so Charlie, I know. My next question is, what's the meaning of success to you as an English teacher?
What's the meaning of success?
Difficult
I think when you're
question.
running, when you sorry.
Difficult question, huh? What's the
Yeah.
meaning of
Well, I
success?
think I think for, success for an English teacher is that your student wants to come back to class the next day. I
I
think
see.
that's success. I think ever since I've started working in admin, well, I work as a director of studies now, so I'm seeing both sides. I'm seeing the business side of things and also the classroom side of things. I think success for us is that a student wants to come to English class. And I think
I see.
that speaks to the teacher's work in the classroom, but also the work that the school does in
Mm,
general maybe with the family of the child. And I think it's also success for the school because obviously if a teacher wants to, if a student wants to continue, then that's positive. That's a success for the school as well. So
I
I
see.
think
Uh-huh.
I think when I hear sometimes parents say to me, "Oh, my son or my daughter's always he looks forward or she looks forward to English class, so she's so happy and she wants to." The idea of a student waking up in the morning and thinking, "Oh, like I've got English class today,"
Yeah.
great, and I think that's success for me. That's
I see. I
yeah.
understand. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Charlie. All right. So let's move to my really interesting. This question is also really. I really wonder what I'm going to say about it. Here is the question: if you could have one superpower to use in the classrooms, what would it be, and how would it help?
Um, I'm I was thinking about one, but I've just thought of another actually. Maybe like to teleport, maybe to
Uh-huh.
to to take my students, because one of the big problems for me for all teachers who are teaching English in a foreign country is getting the students that authentic exposure to the language. And obviously, when you're teaching English in an English speaking country, then you've got a great resource just on the street or outside of the classroom. And I think
Definitely.
for me, I'd love to teleport my students to a place in an English speaking country, perhaps, and just let them interact with people. I think yeah, I think that would be it. My superpower. I think that
I
would be
see.
to kind of
That's
take my class and just
mhm.
you know
To another place suddenly.
just go to
Uh,
London or New York and just in one, yeah.
and definitely it's a really useful superpower. Yeah, maybe one day
Yeah.
we will have it, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
that
yeah.
we will see it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you very much, Charlie. And
Mhm.
so you're a director of a or CLIC International House. You're a director, I think. You work as a director.
Click,
So, CLIC, sorry, CLIC
click.
International House.
Yeah, click.
And my next question is really difficult, I think, for you. But I would like to ask you, what do you suggest to the teachers to manage the pressure from the places where they work?
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
you're a
I think.
director and you make, I think, pressure to them.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have to put my own. I have to help myself sometimes, because sometimes, I have a big problem because I take a lot of things home. I take a lot of problems home, and sometimes, weekends, I might spend the whole weekend thinking about how to resolve a problem. I think for teachers, like dealing with pressure, I think you need to put time limits on things. I think a lot of teachers, when I speak to teachers, I always tell them not to spend. A lot of teachers in my school say, "Oh, I spent hours and hours planning this class," and when I hear that, I feel terrible because I feel like, you know, I don't want that. I don't want teachers to do that. I really think it's important that you set time limits when you're organizing or planning your classes, or when you're doing any kind of work outside of school or
Uh-huh.
for the, So I think a long time ago I learned to, you can only spend so long planning a lesson, and sometimes it's unnecessary, and obviously that with experience you learn how much time you need, or you learn how long you need to plan a class for. I think as well, remove any work accounts from your phones, from your PC or your laptop or tablet. I think one mistake I used to make was I had a lot of my work accounts on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and so I used to get emails and messages through, and I think you can turn off notifications, but that doesn't resolve the problem. You need to,
Yeah.
even if you don't have notifications on, you're always thinking about checking, you can't help it. So I
Yeah.
think just having taken it off completely. And I think finally, um, getting away from the city or the place where you're working, to change your environment, to change your surroundings as much as possible. If you
Mm-hmm.
spend the weekend in another city or a town, then I think that helps, to change your surroundings, and I think that helps to.
Mm-hmm. I see. Definitely. I agree. I agree. Okay. And yes, I don't know. John mentioned really nice comment here. Thank you very much, I don't know, John, for your nice comment. Administrators should be chosen from teachers. Only then they can
Can
support
they can
teaching
support?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, administrators should be chosen from teachers. Only then they can support the teaching stuff. Yeah, probably. Totally
yeah.
agree.
And I
Okay.
think I think
Mm-hmm.
all administrators should have worked as a teacher before as well. They should be coming from
Mm-hmm.
teaching themselves. I think
Right.
that's really important
Yeah,
to to
really,
to
total.
to empathize, to understand teachers' situation as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you very much. Okay then. So, Charlie, we know that in the classrooms we have lots of different types of students, and some of them are really willing to attend or willing to participate to the lessons, but some of them they don't want to participate and they want to, they choose to be quiet in the classrooms
Yeah.
and don't want to do anything. In this case, man, uh, what should a teacher do when a student don't want to cooperate in the class or participate in the class?
Um, I think it's very difficult sometimes to have, let's say you have a class of 10 or 12 students, and to have everybody always on board or always on task. There's always going to be one student that maybe their mind starts to wander, or maybe then you know I think you need to always maybe think about, why is the student not why is you say cooperating, or not participating? I think.
Cooperate and
Yeah.
cooperate, I said. Hmm.
Yeah. So I think I think sometimes you need to think it's important not to make judgments or to come to quick decisions about why a student is not cooperating. I think sometimes some students are they're not cooperating for reasons that you might not be aware of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I see students that are not cooperating, I will try and include them during the class. But if it happens more than once, then I will usually speak to the student after class. I never bring it up in front of the other students. So
I see.
usually what I'll do is the other students will leave, and I'll ask the student to stay, and I'll speak to the student, try and find out, personally, why they are not cooperating. It might be because of the level of the class. It might be because of their colleagues. It might be because they're not really interested in English, or maybe their parents are making them come and they want to be somewhere else. So, you can't find that out on the spot. You need to be patient. You need to speak to
Mm-hmm.
the student on an individual level. And I think
I see.
try and find out the reason behind it, and then I think only once you learn why you can try and
Mm-hmm.
solve it, I think.
I
So
understand.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie. All right. So let's move to another question. So I know that, I mean, actually, I can't know it, but I'm sure that you have read lots of books
Yeah.
about the ELT. So
Yeah.
can you suggest us to read about ELT something?
hmm Okay. Well, when I did my Delta course, I had
Mm-hmm.
to read a lot of literature on ELT, and I did one of my Delta thesis was on young learners, was talking about building a course for young learners. And so what that was my focus. So I read a lot of books about teaching children. So one of the books I really enjoyed reading was a book by Jane Moon called the title of the book is Children Learning English.
Uh-huh.
And this book was really easy to read, which is good for me because because I didn't really, I really enjoy reading so much. And then there was another one by Lynn Cameron, who wrote a book on teaching language to young learners. And those were two books I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed for
I
me
see.
about young learners.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think a great book for anyone who's wants to learn about ELT in general is Scott Thornberry's A to Z
Yeah,
with ELT. I
that's a
know
great
it's
book.
it's not a book you can read. It's just it's a series of definitions for
Mm-hmm.
terms that it's great because um, you finally find if you have that book somewhere near, you can always keep checking it and
I
and
see.
reminding yourself of terms and the terminology that's behind a lot of and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the definitions are not just one sentence. There'll be an explanation of the
I
so
see.
that's
I
yeah,
understand.
those
Hmm.
books I
They're
can
they're really
recommend. Yeah.
good books to suggest us to read. I mean, like, but after the session, if you can just write the name of the books and the writer, I can also share them so they can see and they can maybe they want to read or check the books
Yeah.
that you mentioned. Thank you, Charlie. All right, just a couple questions left, by the way. It's time flies. Yeah. And so my next question, Charlie, is when you think about the five W's and how, like who, what, where, when, why, and how, like what questions come to your mind about the LT world?
Um, okay, so my first one is what really makes a good teacher? So what really makes a good teacher?
Hmm.
Is it their qualifications or their personality?
I see. Well, nice
So
one.
those that
Mhm.
that's something that you know I'm always curious. I'm always interested to hear people's opinion on that because um, I think I don't know. I think personally, I think personality counts for a lot
Mhm.
in class, and I think if you don't have the right personality or the right attitude, it doesn't matter how many qualifications or experience you have, I think.
I
So
see.
that was where that question came from, I think. My next one was, where's the next opportunity for ELT? So, you know, when you're an English teacher, you can travel all around the world, but there's still maybe I mean I'm interested to maybe uh, where is the English language not reached yet, or
Uh-huh.
where is because there's a lot of you can go anywhere now to teach English, but maybe there's still a few countries or still a few places that where you can't. So I was wondering where's the next big opportunity for the
Opportunity, I see.
ELT industry,
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, I guess linked to that, how much longer will English be the lingua franca for for the world, really?
I see.
Um, I hear a lot of people talking about everybody will be speaking Chinese soon, but I don't believe it.
Yeah. Who knows?
Um, yeah, yeah. Um, I think next one was why. Why is the general public still obsessed with native speakers?
Yeah,
You know,
that's a good
why
point.
is
Yeah.
that? Why are we still in the 21st century and still people only want native speakers as their teachers? I just don't understand. It makes my job so much more difficult, and it just I don't understand it. And I think I working as a director of studies, I see it a lot from parents, and I always try and explain to them that it doesn't matter where they're from, but I think for a lot of schools they're still running businesses on
I see.
native speakers, on having native speakers. So I think that's just the why, and I think
I
I
understand.
can see Harry just going,
Yeah,
oh, so
yeah,
that's
yeah, he makes that over there.
you know.
That's okay.
It's interesting because my partner, she's had English classes before, and she's had English classes with lots of different teachers, mostly from English speaking countries. But the best teacher she's ever had was Spanish, and so that's I think that's interesting, isn't it? The best
Uh-huh.
her best English teacher was Spanish, and so I think that's a lot of people need to realize that and understand that, and I think it's time. Well, it was
Mm-hmm.
time a long time ago to do that.
Ah, I see.
Um, and then the last question really is, when can we go back to face teaching? We are back face to face. We're still wearing masks, but I know there's a lot of people around the world that are still teaching online or teaching hybrid.
Yeah,
So, I know a lot of people are still struggling with teaching online, and what they want to go back to face classes. So I'm just hoping that
I see.
that
I
happens
see.
soon.
Nice one.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Was it natives better because we are lazy shoppers? Someone said, was that the natives better? Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. And so let's move to the last question, Charlie. Ready for the last question?
Is this the last question? Okay, let's go.
All right then. Now I'm gonna ask the last question. Here is the question. What is your motto?
What is my motto? Well, my motto. Well, it's actually my mum's motto, and I borrowed it. I borrowed it because I'm allowed to. But
Of course,
it's been
you're.
my motto. Yeah, my motto is live and let live. It's not really related to teaching so much, but it's my
Okay.
motto for life: live and let live. And I think that's a good motto to have. I think for
All right. It's nice one. Live and
yeah.
let live. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. All right. So that was all my questions from the teacher talks. And so before ending our live session, would you like to add anything else?
Would I like to add anything else?
Yes.
I don't know, but is it Volcan? Is that your name, Volcan? Is that
Yes,
or
Volkan.
Ine? Okay,
All time.
do you like my picture here?
Wow, that picture.
Yeah, this is my living room. This is Istanbul. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. That's wonderful. I was actually, I just saw some parts of it, but
Yeah.
I said, what's about it when you show me the whole picture? So it's wonderful. How did you get it? And have you been to Istanbul,
Well,
by the way?
I've been, yeah, we went to, it was the last holiday we took before COVID, before the pandemic. And
Ah,
we went in the winter of 2019 in December, around after, between Christmas and New Year's. And we loved it. And we want to go back. And so I noticed
sure.
that are you a Fenerbahce fan?
Yeah. Yes, I am definitely. Yeah, you know
But
it. Wonderful. Thank you.
Fenerbahce are in Istanbul, huh?
Yes, in Istanbul, and one of the
Yeah.
biggest club. Yeah.
Yes, one of the biggest. You now have Mesut Ozil, no?
Yeah, he is
Ozil.
the world's yeah, he is the world's one of the world's best football player, and now he's playing in Fenerbahce. Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan.
Oh my God. So
So he
so
went from my team to your team.
yeah, that was really great one. It's really
Yeah,
he's really
yeah,
talented. He's
yeah.
extraordinary football player. Really. I'm
Um,
really surprised
so
about this. I wasn't expecting from you to this, especially the picture and talking about
yeah, yeah.
Fenerbahce. Thank you. It's really
Um,
nice.
so I know, I'm interested to know you teach English, yeah? So what is your job apart from interviewing English teachers on Instagram?
Well, I'm an English teacher. I'm working in a private school in
Yeah,
Manisa. As Manisa is a city, is very close to Izmir. And
yeah,
maybe if I know you, I live in Manisa. Maybe you don't know it, but if I ask you, if I tell you the Izmir, probably you know Izmir.
yeah.
Izmir,
Izmir
Istanbul.
rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah. And now I work as an English teacher. I teach fifth graders, and I teach their preparatory classes. They
Sure.
learn English, and I teach 20 hours in a week. Yeah,
Yeah.
English to them.
Okay.
So
Do
I'm
you
really
teach in
busy with them.
like a is it like a private school for after school tuition?
Private, the whole day. It's a private school.
So do you
I work
work in the mornings or the afternoons or
whole day. I mean, like we
whole
start
day?
we start from nine in the morning till 4 or 4 half past 4 from 9 to half past 4.
Okay. Do you guys you teach all the subjects, not only English?
No, only English. I don't teach the other subjects.
Okay.
I only teach
Okay.
English, not the other
Okay.
subjects.
Because I
Not
saw a video of you I saw a video of you dancing and singing with some children, I think.
I do that. I do
Maybe
that too. That's a part of my lesson. I mean, like I do it, and I like to do it. That kind of fun things with my students,
yeah.
especially the break times and before starting the lesson. We dance, we have fun,
Okay.
and we become really energetic to start the lesson, and then we start lessons because the students that I teach, they're really fifth graders, just like 10 and 11 years old kids. So it's really not easy to start the lesson directly. You need to make them ready to start the lessons. You
Yeah.
need to really, and it's really important to make them ready to you know to start the lesson with them. It's really important for me.
Yeah.
They are not
Okay.
ready always. So it's just you need to
Mhm.
find a way to make them ready. You just the make some jokes or dance
Mhm.
or ask some
Yeah.
questions or do something with them
Okay.
to have them
Interesting.
fun before starting the lesson. And then you can, when they are ready like that, you can do whatever you want with them in the lesson. You can teach everything them.
Okay. That sounds good. That sounds interesting. And
Yeah.
what made you decide to do these interviews?
This
These like
I have been thinking to do this for a long time, but actually this is really funny. yeah, warming up, as Jam says. Sorry, I couldn't find exactly the word about the students. Yeah,
Okay,
warming
all
up
right.
is the
Yes,
the
yeah,
words
yeah.
that I should have said
Mhm.
here. And I was thinking to this one for I mean for a long time, but thanks to pandemic, it's not a good word to say that. It's really not a good thing. Don't understand me wrong about it. When
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pandemic started, I was thinking, what can I do? Or I should do something about yeah. I should do
Activating
something
schemata, yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Exactly, activating schemata. Also, right.
Mm.
Thank you, Neil. And and then I said, okay, I'm gonna do something which is useful not only to me, something useful to other teachers, not only Turkey, why not all around the world, so we can get, we can make a community, we can make a kind of a connection between them
Yeah.
and give them opportunity to other teachers to share your ideas or
Mm.
memories, or I
Yeah.
don't know, advice to other teachers, or
Yeah.
what kind of things you are doing there, like you're in Spain and you talk about the place where you work and you share
Yeah.
your ideas and
Yeah.
suggestions and the environment you work. So it's really nice to listen, and we learn from each other. For example,
Yeah. That's
you
great.
just mentioned different tools. That's really
Yes.
interesting because I
Yeah.
never heard about it. Thanks to you,
Yeah.
and thank you very much to you about it. So I learned it from you. And as Jam says, as you see here, as Inget, we appreciate your efforts to help our colleagues. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Inget is also, by the way, I want to say it's one of the biggest, uh, is it a kind of company or uh,
Yeah.
kind of things that they support teachers, and they do lots of things in Turkey and also in Europe.
Okay.
It's really, really good
Mm.
part. All right. So thank you very much, Jam, for your support also. And like this, that's why I do it. And now this is my 76th session. I have been doing this
76.
association. Sorry, again, I couldn't find the exact word. Yes, exactly. Inget as
Association. Okay.
association.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I have been doing this for 76 weeks. So it goes until
Ah,
100, and then I have another
wow.
plans. Yes,
Who is going to be number 100?
I don't know. I don't know. It's
It's
maybe
going to be someone
surprise.
very lucky. Very lucky.
We will see who's gonna be the
Yeah.
101. I don't know.
Maybe you can invite all 100 of us for a
Yeah, why
group.
not? All of you come and let's
Yeah.
talk. It
Yeah.
can be really nice with a different platform. Maybe why not? That's a good idea. Yeah,
Mm.
everybody. Yeah, John was
Yeah.
54th. Yeah, you are right, John. And like this, and that's all about it, I think. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and so Charlie was with us. Yeah, Charlie Cranmer was with us in 76 Teacher Talk session. And before ending our live session, I would like to really thank you, Charlie, to spend your time and tell about your suggestions and ideas and
Right.
memories about yourself. It was
Okay.
really lovely and fruitful sessions. I really enjoyed the session. I hope you enjoyed it too.
I did. I did.
And
And thank you for
all right.
inviting me.
Okay, it was a great pleasure to have you here. And that's all from Teacher Talks tonight. And we are going to meet again next Monday at the same time, on the same day, with a different educator from different part of the world. And we share
Hmm.
and we discuss and we talk about different questions. And also thank you very much to people who attend here and listen to us, especially have a chance to listen Charlie. That was really nice. Thank you very much one more time. And until next Monday, take care of yourselves and peace, everybody. And peace, Charlie. Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you very
See
much.
you. Bye
See you.
bye. Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.